Welcome to Bravo Life 360. This is the place where we share stories that matter about family, retirement, and life's most profound lessons. I'm about to tell you something that will shock you to your core. Right now, as you watch this video, millions of older adults across America are living in complete isolation. Not just alone, but forgotten, invisible, waiting for a phone call that never comes, hoping for a visitor who never arrives. Imagine this, you're 78 years old. You wake up every morning to absolute silence. No good morning text, no phone ringing, no knock on your door. For 3 weeks straight, the only voice you hear is your own, echoing in an empty house. This isn't a nightmare. This is reality for millions of American seniors right now. According to a shocking 2023 national survey among adults aged 50 to 80, 37% reported severe loneliness. 34% live in complete social isolation. But here's what will break your heart. This isn't just about living alone. These are people feeling utterly disconnected even when surrounded by others. The most devastating statistic of all? For socially isolated seniors who die at home, the average time until someone discovers their body is 21 days. 21 days of absence, and nobody notices. Nobody cares enough to check. We think loneliness is just an emotion, just feeling sad. But science reveals a terrifying truth. Chronic loneliness is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. It's not just heartbreak, it's a death sentence, delivered slowly, day by day, in the cruelest possible way. Let me paint you a picture of what loneliness actually does to the human body and mind. First, it attacks the brain. Isolated seniors have a 50% higher risk of developing dementia. Their minds literally begin to fade, because human connection is oxygen for our brains. Second, it destroys the heart. Lonely seniors develop hypertension at alarming rates. Heart disease becomes inevitable. Their hearts break emotionally, then break physically. The symbolism is haunting and real. Third, the economic devastation. Medicare data shows socially isolated seniors spend over $1,600 more per year on healthcare. They're not just dying inside. They're going broke trying to stay alive. But behind every statistic is a real person with a real story. Let me tell you about Mary. Mary Thompson, 78 years old, lives in a small apartment in Columbus, Ohio. She spent 40 years as a school librarian, touching the lives of thousands of children. She was married to Robert for 52 years, until cancer took him 3 years ago. Her 2 children live in California and Florida. They call on birthdays and holidays, rushed conversations filled with their own problems, their own busy lives. Mary's friends, most have passed away. The few remaining are in nursing homes or too frail to visit. Mary's day starts at 6 a.m. She makes coffee for one. She sits at a kitchen table set for one. She watches morning news alone, talking to the TV anchor as if they're old friends. Her cat, Whiskers, is her most consistent companion, the highlight of Mary's entire week. Tuesday afternoons, when the Meals on Wheels volunteer arrives, not because she needs the food, though she appreciates it, but because for exactly 3 minutes and 20 seconds, someone says her name. Someone asks how she's doing. Someone sees her. Mary told me through tears, "I don't need much. I just need someone to remember I exist." When Jennifer knocks on my door and says, "Good afternoon, Mary," my heart jumps like I'm 20 years old again. For those few moments, I matter to someone. Then there's Henry Rodriguez, 84 years old, former construction foreman from Brooklyn. Henry built half the skyscrapers in Manhattan with his own hands. Strong, proud, independent his entire life. After his wife Elena died, his world collapsed. Henry's 3 sons are successful businessmen, traveling, constantly consumed by careers and their own families. They send money for Christmas. They pay for his apartment, but they don't send themselves. For 2 years, Henry sat in his recliner, watching the same TV shows, eating the same frozen dinners, wondering if anyone would care if he just didn't wake up tomorrow. Depression consumed him. His doctor prescribed pills, but you can't medicate away a broken heart. Then Henry discovered the Life Story Club. Every Thursday, 8 seniors meet in a community center basement. They share their stories, their memories, their dreams they never fulfilled. Henry was terrified the first time. What if nobody cared about his story? But when Henry talked about building the Chrysler Building's foundation, about working through blizzards, about the pride, he felt watching the skyline grow through his efforts. Something magical happened. People listened. They asked questions. They valued his experience. Henry's voice changed when he told me, "For 60 years, I was just another worker." But in that circle, I became a storyteller, a historian, a man whose life mattered. When Maria asked to hear more about the old neighborhood, when Frank laughed at my jokes about the foreman, I felt alive again. I felt like Henry again. Now, you might think loneliness only affects poor seniors, people without resources. That's tragically wrong. Dr. Sarah Chen's research at Stanford revealed that middle-class and wealthy seniors often suffer the most severe isolation. Why? Because we assume they're fine. They live in nice houses, have good health care, seem comfortable. But comfort isn't connection. Money can't buy meaningful relationships. Success can't cure loneliness. Even more shocking, 22% of married seniors still report severe social isolation. Living with someone doesn't guarantee feeling connected. Sometimes the loneliest person is sitting right next to someone they've grown apart from over decades. The digital divide makes everything worse. While younger generations have hundreds of online friends, many seniors find smartphones and social media completely foreign. They watch their grandchildren communicate in ways they don't understand, creating an invisible wall between generations. I met Patricia Williams, 73, in Seattle. She lives next door to a young family. She sees them every day, loading kids into cars, rushing to activities, living busy lives. They wave politely. They might chat about the weather for 30 seconds. But that's it. Patricia said, "I can see their kitchen window from mine. I watch them have dinner together every night, laughing and talking. I eat my sandwich alone, watching their happiness through glass. We're 20 feet apart, but might as well be on different planets." But here's where the story takes a hopeful turn. Because Americans are incredible when we recognize a problem and decide to solve it. The Life Story Club I mentioned, started by one person who noticed seniors had amazing stories nobody was hearing. Now there are chapters in 43 states, thousands of seniors sharing their experiences, finding their voices again, discovering they matter. Meals on Wheels isn't just about nutrition, it's about human connection. Volunteers are trained not just to deliver food, but to spend a few minutes to notice changes, to care. One volunteer, Jessica Martinez, drives an hour each way to deliver to seniors in rural areas. Jessica told me Mrs. Patterson always has her hair done on delivery day. She wears her best dress. She's not preparing for a meal delivery. She's preparing for her visitor, maybe her only human contact all week. How can that not break your heart? How can that not motivate you to do more? Love for Our Elders mobilizes thousands of volunteers nationwide to send handwritten letters, cards, and video messages to isolated seniors. Seems simple, right? But the impact is profound. I watched 80-year-old Dorothy open a letter from a college student in Michigan. Dorothy lives in Florida, doesn't know. This young person will probably never meet them. But as she read that someone took time to write to her, to share their day, to say they were thinking of her, tears streamed down her face. "This isn't just paper," Dorothy whispered. "This is proof that I'm not invisible. Someone in Michigan, someone I've never met, thinks I'm worth their time." How incredible is that? The solutions aren't complicated or expensive. They require the one thing we all have but rarely give enough of attention: time, presence. Dr. Michael Torres, a geriatrician in Phoenix, started something called Prescription for Connection. Instead of just prescribing medications, he prescribes social activities, volunteer opportunities, community involvement. The results are stunning. When I tell a patient to join a book club or volunteer at an animal shelter, Their health improves faster than with any medication I could prescribe. Dr. Torres explained. Human connection is the most powerful medicine we have. Technology is starting to help too. Video calls that seemed impossible to seniors 5 years ago became lifelines during the pandemic. GrandPad tablets, designed specifically for seniors, make communication easier. Apps like Papa connect young volunteers with isolated seniors for companionship and light assistance. But technology will never replace genuine human connection. It's a bridge, not a destination. The most powerful stories come from intergenerational connections. I met 17-year-old Marcus Johnson in Detroit. For community service, he started visiting Riverside Senior Center weekly. Initially, it was just to fulfill school requirements. Marcus was paired with 81-year-old Walter, a former jazz musician. Marcus loves hip-hop. Walter lived through the birth of jazz. They should have nothing in common. Instead, they discovered that music transcends generations. Walter taught Marcus about improvisation, about finding your voice through rhythm. Marcus showed Walter how modern artists sample classic jazz, how old becomes new again. Their friendship transformed both their lives. Marcus said, "Mr. Walter doesn't judge my music or my generation. He listens. He shares his stories. He makes me feel like what I think matters. And I think I do the same for him." Walter's perspective. Marcus reminds me that my experiences have value. When he asks about the old clubs, the musicians I knew, the history I lived, I feel important again. He doesn't see an old man. He sees someone with stories worth hearing. Corporate America is starting to recognize this crisis too. IBM's Engage Aging program pairs retired employees with current workers as mentors. Microsoft created Aging Connected to help seniors navigate technology. These aren't charity programs. They're recognizing that senior wisdom combined with youthful energy creates incredible value. But the most important changes happen in families. I met the Peterson family in Minneapolis. After realizing their 85-year-old father, Jim, was becoming isolated, they made a radical decision. Instead of just calling occasionally, they created a family communication schedule. Monday, oldest daughter calls. Tuesday, son video chats during lunch. Wednesday, youngest daughter texts photos of grandchildren. Thursday, family group text. Friday, someone visits. Weekends, family activities when possible. Jim Peterson's transformation was remarkable. Instead of waiting hopefully for contact that might not come, he knew connection was coming. He started preparing stories to share, questions to ask. He became more engaged, more curious, more alive. His son Michael explained, "We thought Dad was fine because he never complained. We were so busy with our own lives, we didn't realize he was disappearing. The schedule saved his life and brought our family closer together." The ripple effects of addressing senior loneliness extend beyond individual lives. Communities become stronger. Healthcare costs decrease. Wisdom gets passed to younger generations. Society benefits when we value our elders instead of discarding them. Some of the most innovative solutions come from unexpected places. In Portland, Oregon, senior housing is being built next to college dormitories. Students get affordable housing. Seniors get built-in companionship. Both generations benefit from daily interaction. Grocery stores are creating senior shopping hours that become social events. Libraries offer technology tutoring, where seniors learn digital skills while forming friendships. Community gardens pair experienced senior gardeners with younger families. The key insight? Loneliness isn't solved by grand gestures. It's solved by consistent, small acts of recognition and care. But let's be honest about the challenges. Many adult children live far from aging parents due to job mobility. Economic pressures make visiting difficult. Modern life moves so fast that slowing down to connect feels impossible. Yet the COVID-19 pandemic taught us something powerful. When we couldn't physically be together, we found creative ways to connect. Video calls with grandparents became family traditions. Drive-by visits through windows. Socially distanced outdoor gatherings. We prove that where there's will, there's a way. The question isn't whether we can solve senior loneliness. The question is whether we will choose to prioritize it. I want to share one final story that captures everything we've discussed. Rose Martinez, 89 years old, lived alone in San Antonio for 8 years after her husband died. Her daughter lived in Chicago, visited twice a year. Rose spoke to her plants, her deceased husband's photograph, anyone who would listen at the grocery store. Rose was dying of loneliness, not metaphorically, literally. She'd stopped eating regularly, stopped caring for herself, stopped finding reasons to wake up each morning. Then her granddaughter, Sophia, a college senior, had an idea. Instead of just calling occasionally, Sophia started grandma dates every Sunday via video chat. They'd cook the same recipe together, each in their own kitchen. They'd watch old movies simultaneously, texting reactions. They'd share photos of their weeks. But Sophia went further. She created a grandma appreciation club at her university. 20 students adopted local seniors for regular video chats, letter writing, and virtual activities. The program exploded. Within a year, over 300 students were connected with isolated seniors across Texas. Rose became the club's unofficial grandmother, video chatting with dozens of students, sharing recipes, offering advice, listening to their problems. She went from talking to plants to being a beloved mentor to an entire generation. Rose told me, "I thought my useful life was over. But these young people made me realize I have so much to give. My experience matters. My love matters. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm thriving." Sophia's insight? Grandma didn't need charity. She needed purpose. She needed to feel needed. Once we figured that out, everything changed. This is the key to solving senior loneliness, recognizing that seniors aren't burdens to be managed, but resources to be treasured. They don't just need our help. We need their wisdom, their perspective, their love. The statistics I shared earlier are terrifying. 37% of seniors experiencing loneliness. 21 days before anyone discovers a deceased senior. Healthcare costs skyrocketing due to isolation. But statistics don't tell the whole story. Behind every number is a person with a lifetime of experiences, love to give, wisdom to share. They raised us, built our communities, served our country, created the world we inherited. Now it's our turn to serve them. The solution starts with you, right now, tonight. Is there an elderly person in your life you haven't contacted recently? A grandparent, a neighbor, a family friend, someone who might be sitting alone, wondering if anyone remembers they exist? Make that call, send that text, plan that visit. You might think it's a small gesture, but for them, it could be everything. It could be the difference between despair and hope, between isolation and connection, between merely surviving and truly living. This isn't just about being nice to old people. This is about recognizing that we're all aging. We're all going to need connection and care someday. The way we treat today's seniors sets the standard for how we'll be treated tomorrow. We have the power to end the silent crisis of senior loneliness, not through government programs or corporate initiatives, though those help, through individual acts of love, attention, and care, through remembering that behind every elderly face is a person who deserves dignity, respect, and connection. The most profound truth I've learned while researching this story: loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about feeling invisible. It's about believing that your existence doesn't matter to anyone. Every phone call says, "You matter." Every visit says, "You're important." Every letter says, "You're not forgotten." Every moment of attention says, "Your life has value." You have the power to transform someone's world today. Use it. This has been Bravo Life 360, where we believe that every story matters, every person deserves connection, and it's never too late to make a difference in someone's life. If this story moved you, please share it with others. Like this video and subscribe for more stories that matter. Turn on notifications so you never miss content that could change how you see the world. Your engagement helps us reach more people, share more stories, and hopefully inspire more acts of connection and kindness. Most importantly, take action. Make that call. Send that message. Visit that person. Be the light in someone's darkness today. Thank you for watching, for caring, and for being part of the solution to one of America's most urgent but invisible crises. Remember, we're all just walking each other home. Make sure nobody walks alone.